Today, I will be giving a presentation on the fascinating life of the unfortunately named and mysterious hermit named Trisha. Now, to start out the story, I'd like to point out that despite what you might have originally thought, Trisha is actually a boy and was only named Trisha because his parents had hoped for a girl. Now, Trisha lived in a faraway land on the coast of some great undiscovered continent. His parents had left him at a young age due to him being a male, and even though he was only 17 years old, Trisha had lived alone for most of his life, never having seen another human being since his parents left. Now, what is the state of nature? At this point, Trisha lived in a state of nature, meaning that there were no laws, and the only thing he had to obey were the laws that are naturally part of the world, like gravity. And this worked out great for him until one fateful day, a beautiful and strange creature came into his life, a female. Now, this is the first time that Trisha had communicated with anyone in years. This girl named Alexandria moved in right next to him, and for a while this worked out, besides the occasional jab at his poor excuse for a name, because he found her quite attractive. But after a while, he realized that some of his things were missing, like his favorite hunting stick. He realized that she had been stealing behind his back. And here's, obviously a thief. Now, what is the law of nature? So, he hiked over to her cabin and demanded that if she understood the law of nature, to which she replied, "No, what's the law of nature?" Trisha then went through the lengthy explanation of what it was, but to save time, I'll paraphrase what he said. The law of nature is where no one should take away the life, liberty, or property of someone else, and there are consequences, natural consequences, if you do. She said she understood, and then asked, well, how do you own something in the state of nature? Well, he said, you just have to claim it, and then be able to use what you claimed. Before I arrived, I owned the majority of this beach. Deceivingly, Alexandria agreed and said it made sense. Trisha went back to his glorified hut, feeling reassured. And it all worked out for a while, even when a new person moved onto the beach, a cool, muscular guy named Mike. Trisha explained the law of nature to Mike, and he abided by it faithfully. Alexandria, on the other hand, started taking things again, but only from Trisha. This irritated him beyond belief. Now, who gets to enforce the law in a state of nature? See, now the problem with law in a state of nature is that Trisha had no power over the consequences. Nature decided the consequences itself. What he could act upon was the law of nature, because it entitled him to his property, and the fact that he was being robbed of this made his smallish leg hair stand on end. What are the three things missing in the state of nature? Now, on his second trek back to the accursed cabin of Alexandria, Trisha realized that there are three things missing with the state of nature. Even though law is supposed to protect your life, liberty, and property, there's not anything to enforce it. What he realized that it's missing is, first, an established law. Second, an unbiased judge to judge the right or wrong people did according to the laws. And third, power so that what judge actually rules has meaning and a consequence. He then called a group meeting, and they set up a true community and made Mike the judge. And they gave him the power to enforce the laws that they set up, such as no stealing others' property. Now, what two rights must you give up to enter a society? Now, when they entered the society, they gave up two rights. First, they gave up the power to inflict their own punishment on those who might do things to disapprove of, such as, Alexandria stealing from Trish. Trish can no longer just inflict his own punishment on her. They now have to live by the rules. Okay, sorry. And two, you lose the ability to do what's going to help you most as an individual, and have to live by the laws set up by the society you joined. And although there were still a few problems, Mike, acting as the government, was able to solve all these problems in court. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching. Here are my cited sources. Because I only used the two treaties of government, I only have one source, but the other source was my imagination. Thank you so much.